myself a vodka, you know. Well, it's my day off. I've got 2 weeks off work now, so yay, 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 yay for me. And let's have a little look and see who we've got chatting first of all. I saw Rich Mitch was right at the top. Yep, Rich Mitch is here. Hey Rich. We've got John. Hey John. We've got Scotty Bain. Hey Scott. Paul's here. Hey Paul. And I think that's, oh, and Jimbo's here as well. James reporting for duty. Hey James, Jimbo. I'll call you Jimbo. And yes, hopefully there's no sound on the laptop. I've got the laptop ready to go so I can check your comments. So you know why we're here, kind of made it quite clear. And before we get started, a drink of the night. Just poured it now. Vodka and Diet Coke. I've got 2 weeks off work now. Woohoo! I've just had a chap round to quote for putting that wallpaper up, the Lynx wallpaper that I showed you in the last live stream. So he's going to send me a quote and also do some decorating in the front room, which needs decorating. So that's exciting. Be nice to get some get the house looking nice. I could do it myself, but well, I don't really know how to do wallpaper and I don't want to ruin it. So be nice to have it done properly because I'm a little bit slapdash, get paint everywhere. So yeah, wait for a quote on that. Be nice to get the house looking a little bit more me. And I've just vacuumed around the house, so that's the thing that I've done today. I've actually filmed a couple of videos. I have filmed a video on Masterpiece Fragrances, and I've also filmed my review of Fawn by Thomas from Ouch 110. So there's 2 videos that are just need a bit of editing and then they'll be up. Let me know what you're all drinking or eating. Paul says, how did Claire get her hands on the Demi juice? Excuse me. I'm going to tell you that in a minute. Scott says, are you on your best behaviour, John? I doubt it. And the handyman's been in, says Paul. Yes. And John says Fawn is rather lovely stuff. Yeah, Fawn, it's not my style because it's quite green, but I really appreciate the composition, the blending. I think Thomas has done an amazing job. It's like, I said this in the video, if you said to me this was created by a perfumer from Givaudan or IFF, I would not question it. It's such a good fragrance. Robert's here. And he's got a Redbreast 12 cask strength whiskey, I assume that is. Or correct me if I'm wrong, is it cognac, whiskey, brandy? I'm going with whiskey, let me know. Scott's got a chicken jalfrezi, very nice. I'm going round the other halves for dinner. So I'm going to be here maximum an hour because I need to be at his house for 7 for, he's got a pie, a steak and ale pie, looks amazing from Waitrose. And John's got green tea, and my tea is bacon after the, what, just bacon, John? Anything with it? JC Russell's here. Hey JC, how you doing? Right then, and it is whiskey. And Tracy's here too. Hey Tracy. And we've got 50 cents UK. Hey Ange, you all right? So Ange has already done a review of this. I've linked it in the description box, so go check it out later after this one, of course. And yeah, so let me know what you're drinking, what you're eating, if you've got any snacks on the go, or tea. I guess it's tea time in the UK. I'm going to tell you the story of how I obtained these 2 samples. They are samples, they're not full bottles. So let's start with the Killian. John Boy sent me that, just a little bit there to try, and I'm really excited to try it because love, don't be shy. I used to have a small, I can't remember what I had, it wasn't a travel size, it was a refill or something, and yeah, I had a small amount of love, the original Love, back right at the beginning of my sort of steps into niche. It was one of the first ones that I sort of got hold of, or in the first 6 months probably of me really discovering niche perfume, I think. And I did really like it, and especially at that point I hadn't tried a lot of, I think the longer you're in this game, the more things stop smelling unique because you've smelt combinations before. So back then it was definitely a lot more unique to me. I was only sort of really learning about gourmands, just discovering gourmands. And the only thing with it is I had it for a little while. It's the orange blossom is quite intense in the original Love. And it was kind of a bit sickly or cloying to me. It was maybe just the whole composition was just a bit too sweet. And so I ended up swapping it out. I got rid of the original Love. So I'm going to turn this light down. It's actually too bright. So when I heard about the extreme version, which I don't know about you, but it seemed to come out of nowhere. But when I heard about it, I was quite excited for it because I imagine it's going to be less orange blossom. If they're overdosing the rose note, then my guess is it's going to be less orange blossom, which will make it more palatable to me. But we'll see. And from the reviews, there are people saying it isn't quite as sweet. So I'm excited. So Jon Scented Snowdrop sent me that sample. Thank you, Jon. Jon says, yours is the only one to not actually leak. Oh no, I saw Lizzie Bean said hers had leaked. That's a shame. I'm lucky, thank God. Mary Beth is here. She says Rihanna's favourite perfume, yes. And Tracy feels the same, so intrigued by this one. And Robert is saying Sweet Redemption is the same as Love or similar to Love. I think Jon said the same thing to me, that they're made of similar notes. Jon pointed out that I have actually reviewed Sweet Redemption or talked about it on Chad's channel, Gentleman's Journey, but it was quite a long time ago, quite a few years ago, so I don't really remember it too well, except thinking it was quite sweet. Okay then, and the other sample that I've got here is a big thank you to Matthew, and I'll tell you how I got this, and he sent me 5 mils of the Minuet edema. So what happened was I was on a Facebook group, and there's a very well respected admin on this Facebook group. I don't think he'll mind me saying, Miss Anne is a fantastic taste in fragrance, a really great way of describing fragrances on the group. And he described, he had a couple of decants, one of which was Minuet edema, and he was very favourable in the way he described it. And he takes no shit. If he doesn't like something, or thinks something's bad, he will tell you. And he was really favourable in his description of Minuet edema. And I asked him, where did you get that sample from? And then the lovely Matthew stepped in and said, from me, I can sort you out. And bless him, he didn't want payment. He wouldn't let me pay for it. He said he liked the channel and wanted to support. So thank you again, Matthew, because I know how special it is. Obviously, it was a limited release. However, there has been some news. I'm sure you probably all know, but we'll get to that in a second. So Matthew sent me this Minuet edema from his bottle. And yeah, the latest update on the Minuet edema is there's going to be a new release, a new batch coming out around March time. So if you check Demi's channel, you'll see her update on that. So initially it was kind of like, well, is me reviewing Minuet edema even worth doing if no one can buy it? But now there is going to be another batch. So and I know that's causing some controversy. Some people feel like, well, they bought it because it was limited edition and now it doesn't feel so special because it's coming out again. Let me know what you think about that. I can see both sides really. If it was me and I'd bought it thinking it was limited edition, I don't know. I don't think I'd be upset because I don't buy fragrances like a collector does. So I guess if you're a collector and you want something rare, then you might be upset. I buy fragrances to wear and enjoy, and I like to be able to talk about them on my channel, and it makes more sense to talk about stuff that's actually available. So that's where I stand on that. So there we are, Minuet edema. I'm going to do both on skin. Let me know what you're all wearing. I've got up here, I've got my Iris Shot, which is a brand new to me purchase. And I have got an unboxing on that, which will be up soon as well. But that's my fragrance up here. Jim says, I'm shocked I tell you. Jon, no, she's not releasing more. Dun dun. I think, yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious. Why wouldn't you? If you know, if you're a business, you're going to test the water with the first batch, and then if there's a lot of demand for another, why wouldn't you? You know, if there's money in it. So I think most people, if you've been in the world for a little while and you know how marketing works, and you know, there's a lot of brands that do this. You know, some of the indie brands, they kind of like say, this is it, this is the only batch, and then, you know, there's a lot of demand for it, and lo and behold, they can create another batch. So, you know, I think no one's going to be that shocked by it, really. So Ange says, yeah, I see both sides, although I'm happy people can get a chance to enjoy it. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Don is here, just add light. Hey, Don. And Robert says, people will give some of the most prestigious niche and indie houses a pass for doing the exact same thing Demi is doing. Scott says, I'm wearing Love Don't Be Shy Extreme because mine leaks. I thought I'm not wasting it. Yeah, I don't blame you. I'll be rubbing that all over me. And Robert started his day with Scandinavian Crime by Laurent Mazzoni, now wearing Dodo by Zoologist. Jim says, no company's going to say no to money. Exactly. Right. Okay, what do you want me to start with? You choose the first. I'll take the first 4 comments, and the average answer will be the first one we go for. Killian or Demi. That's all you have to say, Killian or Demi, and all vote now. I'm only going for the first 4 and then the average. So we've got Demi and Killian are in a neck and neck. Killian is now in the lead. So we've got 1 for Demi, 2 for Killian, 1 more answer. And then if it comes to a tiebreaker, right, we're on a tiebreaker. So the next one is the answer. Okay, we're on a tiebreaker. So whoever answers next with a Killian or a Demi, it will be what you choose. David says, hi, hope you're all good. And Mary Beth has chosen Demi, so Demi it is. So we're going to start with Demi. Jim's here. Hello, Smurfy et al. Still working over in my neck of the woods, but I'll listen in. Hey, Jim, nice to see you. Right, we're going to go with Demi's first then. And I'm going to do that on this wrist here. It's completely clean. I just spat then, that's awful. It's completely clean. No perfume on this wrist. And I'm fairly recently showered. Are you ready? Here we go. Okay, 2 good big sprays there. I'm not breathing, I'm just going to let the air... I'm going to have to breathe in a second. Right, I'm breathing. Okay, in the air, I get caramel straight away. Yeah, it's like milky caramel that I'm getting in the air. I'm just going to let the alcohol dissipate from my wrist before I bring it to my nose. But it's absolutely a milky caramel, completely. Okay, Don says, I wonder, isn't every perfume technically a limited edition? Nothing lasts forever. That's a good point. Ange says, that's what I said. Caramel was the first thing. Tony's here. Hey, Tony. Right, then I'm going to bring it to my nostrils. Oh, that's nice. So, in the air, I was a little bit like, oh, great, it's going to be a bit too much caramel, because in the air, that's what I got, caramel. But no, this has this lovely spiciness. I know there's cardamom in here. So you get the caramel, but when you bring it up to your nose, you've got this rich, it's almost fruity spiciness. Like a piece of fruitcake, but maybe with a caramel cream frosting inside. Yeah, it's So this has got coffee in it, I think. I'm not necessarily getting that at the moment, but it has got a dark feel. So this is not a frivolous, fruity, floral, typical girly scent that you find in a pink bottle in a shop, you know. This has got a darkness to it. Tony says, what's the verdict? John says, is it like Louis Cardon Sacred? No, that's quite different. Although I haven't smelt that for a long time. Light of Joy is here, better late than never. Hello Claire, hey Light of Joy. Tracy says, sounds gorgeous. It honestly is. It does have a familiarity to it. Itchy face. What am I thinking? It's not to say it smells like anything else specifically, but it does. And I'm pretty sure Demi said it's not the most unique fragrance in the world. It's just, she just had it made exactly how she wanted it, which I really appreciate. A lot of companies, when they come out with perfumes, they think too much, or in my opinion, they go very much on the marketing side of things. Even a lot of niche brands, I find, aiming their perfumes at a particular market, trying to go with whatever's trending, what's popular. And even some of the YouTuber collabs, from what I've seen, they're sort of coming out with a range of fragrances to cover all bases, you know, like a freshie, a date night, a clubbing. And when you do that, just in my opinion, let me know if you agree. If you're trying to create something for a specific marketing viewpoint, I feel like you lose the creativity because you're too focused on this needs to be a freshie, this needs to be a summer fragrance, therefore it must have citruses or aquatics, and it's almost like you then cancel out maybe what the subconscious or the true soul or heart or whatever it is that drives creativity really wants. Does that make sense? So I feel like Demi has not done that. I feel like she's just said, I want a perfume that's me, that I'm gonna love, and it doesn't have to be super unique, it doesn't have to be beast mode, it doesn't have to fit a specific genre, but she loves her she loves her gourmand, she loves her date night type fragrances, seductive, and I feel like she's really gone with her heart on this one, and I like that. She picked the perfumer that she liked the mod from, despite the fact that he was an unknown, and she could have gone with anyone, you know, she had big names. She could have done that and then had a lot more accolade, maybe sold a lot more, but I do feel like she's followed her heart here. I feel like I'm getting a hint of that coffee. So the caramel is not as sweet and milky as it was in the air. The caramel is not as big a part of what I'm smelling right now. It's just a little part of it because the spiciness is fairly intense. Excuse me. And there's this hint of coffee, and the colour in my mind is a very dark. Not that it's a gothic scent, but it's rich and dark. It's not as sickly sweet as like Black Phantom, which is definitely a dark gourmand. But it's, I'm seeing black as I smell it. Okay, let's have a little catch up with your comments. Tony says, at least it's not generic. No, it's definitely not. Yeah, it's not mega unique. You would have smelt these notes before in different compositions, in different you know, different amounts, but it's a thing. Let's think. I think if you like you know, Doucet Bacor Gourmand, I think it's called, that's particularly rich and sweet. It's not as sweet as that, but it's kind of got that exotic. It's exotic. it's got this exotic feel, which I think is coming from the spices in the coffee. So it's almost like, you know, you're getting a spicy coffee sitting outside a cafe in Turkey, or, you know, one of those countries that do those spicy coffees. You know what I mean. Hi Lisa, Lisa's here. Tracy says, yes, so true. I hope you get to do yours too, as would do the same as Demi. Yeah, thank you, Tracy. I totally would. I wouldn't think about who I'm. It's funny actually, because I was watching Marianne Keyes talking about writing, and her advice when she talked about writing is, you don't think about your audience. Don't think, who are you aiming at, who do you want to read it, or don't worry about who's going to read it. You just have to write. And that was her advice as a very creative person. And I would say that advice carries probably into all creative processes. I mean, if you're going to paint a picture, you wouldn't paint a picture to think, well, I'm going to try and sell this to men aged 23 to 27. You know, you use what you've got, don't you? I think. I mean, I'm not particularly talented at anything creative, but I think if I had some sort of skill, I would be. I feel like I'm a creative person locked inside someone who's not that talented. Anyway, this is taking a funny direction. But that's just my feeling. Like, I think creativity shouldn't be, there shouldn't be any boundaries or any external factors. And I honestly think that that's where Demi's gone. So props to her for that. It's gently changing on my skin. I love that it's not too sweet, because I was worried that it's going to be overdosed with sweetness. Not worried, of course, why would I worry? But you know what I mean. When you think about a fragrance, you think, well, will I love it or not? And the factors that might make me not love it is it potentially could be too sweet. This is not too sweet. It's definitely mass appealing. I think most people will enjoy this fragrance. So, you know, that's what I mean. It's not massively groundbreaking. It's not massively unique, but it does smell niche. It's almost got a jammy, like a really dark jammy quality to it. I can't remember. I don't think is there any florals in this? I don't think there is, but it could almost have like a little core of rose jam, but it's not exactly rosy, but it's just got this sort of jammy element. So it's dry. It's not too dry, because I don't usually like very dry fragrances, but I would say it's dry-ish. It's really nice. I feel like I'm picking up on something I recognise. So it's got, I don't know if there's sandalwood in here. Sandalwood or cedar, something like that. Quite a clean hint of woodsiness. I really like it. I'm really impressed. John says, is it particularly Fragrance Du Bois? I've only sampled a couple of Fragrance Du Bois. I had a sample of the Jon Intense, which was really pretty ylang. To me, that was not generic, but I had a few things that I could very easily compare it to. So it was a lovely beachy scent to me, but and then what else? I had an amber one which I passed on, which was really nice but quite short-lived on me. And that, so what I've tried from Fragrance Du Bois has been really nice, but I don't know if I could pick out a common thread and say, yeah, this is. I don't know the house well enough, John. That's the answer. I'd probably order it in a minute if they had a travel spray. Yeah, a Jimbo, it's definitely your cup of tea for sure. Yeah, it's a shame it is only the 100 mils. Tony's got sausages for dinner. Sausage, anyone? Tony's offering his sausage out. With any luck, I'll have some sausage later myself. Hi Claire, just coming on. Sorry, it's Nikem. Nikem, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, but hiya. Oh, Scott, you ooze talent, Claire. Thanks, Scott. You're too kind. Tracy says you're creative. Oh, thank you. Do you think it leans more feminine or totally unisex, says Ange? The only reason some people might say it leans a touch feminine is because it's quite sweet. But there's no specific, I don't really pick out flowers. Maybe, like I said, like some kind of like rose jam or something. But really, there's no specific florals. The things that generally make things girly in terms of marketing are florals and sugary things, aren't they? And there's no florals, but there is a sweetness. I think if you are happy as a man, if you are happy wearing the likes of Black Phantom or any of the gourmands from Killian, if you wear gourmands, then you're not going to see this as feminine at all. But if you were a designer company and you're going to bottle it, you would probably bottle it and market it towards women. Although Tom Ford would definitely market this unisex. And in fact, thinking of Tom Ford, Noir Extreme, if you like that, and I'm thinking of the men's one because the women's one I found a bit too sweet for me, and the men's one was much better. And it's got, so if anything, that's maybe the closest thing I can compare it to, Tom Ford Noir Extreme for men, the men's one, because it's got like this exotic, sweet, kind of nutty feel, and that's got the cardamom, hasn't it? That's got that the ice cream note. I've forgotten the name of it. You know what I mean? Yeah, if anything, that's the closest comparison I can find to it. Let's have a little scroll. Yeah, I can definitely see it on a man. I'd really enjoy it, definitely on a man. I might make the other half wear it. John, Claire, does it have oud? You don't want to have to do an apology video after this. As far as I'm aware, there's no oud in the notes, and I don't pick any oud up. Full disclaimer, I am not psychic and therefore do not 100% know whether there's oud in this fragrance or not. But no, I definitely don't pick anything. I don't pick up any animalic-y type notes. There's nothing jarring, there's nothing challenging. Sandalwood is lovely, creamy. Cedarwood can smell like pencil shavings. Yeah, I feel like it could be. It feels more like it might be that there's both. I don't know, but it's got like the dry pencil shavings element of cedarwood, but it also has there's this dryness, but there's this creaminess at the same time. So it wouldn't surprise me if both are in here. Rich is still here wearing leather oud. Paul, the answer is yes, it is pie, but with any luck, dessert could potentially be sausage. Nikem says helichrysum can smell sweet sometimes too. I don't know what that is. Let me know what that one is. And Don says, dreading the clone company's getting a hold. Can you imagine? I think that would be a shame. I really do. Herb says, hi everyone. Hi Herb. And John says, damn it Claire, Angie's already tempted me with this, now you. I do think you'd like it, John. It's almost like it could be a Killian Gourmand. It could be one of those from that range, Smoke for the Soul, Intoxicated, that particular line. It would fit in really well. John Pathway says, I enjoy it so far, but can't see myself getting through a bottle quickly. Agree it's not super sweet, which is a plus. And agree with the Tom Ford Noir Extreme comment. Not similar, but equally unisex. And Tony says he thinks Bex would like it. Yeah, I think probably she would. And John says, zero animalic aspects. I don't get the pencil shaving, but I do get a chestnut kind of vibe. Yeah, definitely like a nutty kind of feel to it. Sweet, sort of ambery, or at least like a combination of vanilla and woods and a little creaminess. Immortelle. I don't pick up Immortelle, and for me that's a good thing. The way I describe Immortelle, there's two sides to Immortelle. There's the side that I love, and there's the other side that I don't. So Immortelle can smell like maple syrup, but it also kind of has a little bit of a curry-like vibe at the same time. So usually if Immortelle is particularly noticeable in a fragrance, I don't usually like it that much. I can understand it being in here, so it's probably giving it a little bit of that maple syrup kind of feel, but I luckily don't pick up anything curry-like. It's a sample that was sent to me by a lovely fragrance, Facebook fragrance friend. So just a sample there. Ultimate Prime. Raphael says, hi Claire, seems I'm late to the party. You are, Raphael. You have to stay behind and do lines. Welsh says, you're naughty Claire. Hi everyone from rainy Wales. I don't think I've been naughty yet. I don't know, maybe I have. Linear or no? It's difficult to say. Certainly from the opening, I'll tell you what we'll do. I mean, it's only been on my skin, what, 5 or 10 minutes? So it's certainly changing now, but even linear fragrances do change a little bit at the very beginning of their wear. It's certainly changed from, I think, is there cinnamon in here? Now oh, it's an orange. Is there orange in here? Okay, that's funny. I didn't pick this up first time. I just sprayed it again and it smells like orange, nutmeg, cinnamon, caramel. Angie, you still here? Can you do a spray and let me know if you're getting the same thing? Yeah, it smells like a chocolate orange now. I would say Ultimate Prime, it's probably not linear from what I'm experiencing so far, and definitely the opening to sort of 10-15 minutes in is quite different. So also you pick up different facets. So I didn't pick up this orange, chocolate orange, spicy opening, because first of all I was getting a lot of caramel. Now it is a little bit like a dusty, imagine you dry out a chocolate orange and then it turns to dust and you sprinkle it and you smell it in the air. Kind of like that. John says a Killian does need time to blossom. Okay. Would you buy it for a full bottle yourself? Probably not, only because I've got so many sweet gourmands, and whilst this is really nice, it's maybe not unique enough for me in the way that I like my fragrances. But if I had it, and if it was, you know, if it was there, it would get chosen for, I think I would choose it for a night out. I mean, you can wear it during the day, but it just has this night out feel. It gets warmer as it dries down, says Ange. Smells like chai latte and caramel latte mixed together. John says, this is why we love you, Claire, honest always. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so it does change quite quickly. I what I like is there is something in here that's stopping it being too sweet. There's something that's balancing things out. Something that's not, there's a non-sweet note. I'll tell you what also I get a resemblance to is By the Fireplace from Maison Margiela. Not that it smells the same, but there's a common note or a chord in here that I get in By the Fireplace. By the Fireplace is a bit too sweet for me, and I kind of would only want that as a candle or a room kind of smell, a house smell, just because it's a bit sweet. It's sweet and smoky and it's a lovely smell, but I just wouldn't want to smell like it. This I definitely would want to smell like, but I feel like there's something in common with those fragrances. Taffy's here. Claire, what's up? Oh, hey Taffy. Ultimate Prime says, thanks for the honesty. I'm glad I didn't get it, because I'm not the biggest gourmand fan. The price of what it is not unique enough for me too. Yeah, I think if you don't have a big collection, if you don't have a lot of gourmands and you want a special gourmand, then it's one to consider, because it's definitely as good as, you know, as good as, if not better than, a lot of gourmands out there, in my opinion. It's really nice. I'm going to move on to the other, the Killian now, because we need to be conscious of the time, because I don't want to be late for my dinner. So here we go then. We've got Love Don't Be Shy Extreme. Sample courtesy of Jon, aka Scented Snowdrops. Thank you, Jon, so much for sharing your beauty with me. Oh, hang on. I actually did put some perfume there, my iris shot. I forgot to leave it clean. So we're going to go here. If I can get it out. Here we go. So there's just a tiny bit there. I'll do one more. It's just a little bit there, because that's all we need just to assess the scent. So we'll let that settle. I'll hold my hand over here. I'll just have a quick look at your comments. Chestnuts maybe, says Herb. So is there a chestnut note in here then? It could be that. There's something. Angie's never smelt By the Fireplace or any from that house. I hate the bottles. Oh, that's funny. I really like the bottles. And Eric says, hi y'all. Hey y'all. Hey Eric. Drillbit's here. Hello gorgeous petal. Forgive me for the tardiness. That's okay, Drillbit, but you know you have to stay behind for lines, right? And John Pathway says that's the background similarity to By the Fireplace I get, which made me think of Chestnut. Similar background in Stronger With You Intensely, which I find too much. Okay, I haven't tried that one, or if I have, I've not bothered to think too much about it. Vanessa says she's wearing Killian Don't Be Shy Extreme. Just got it in the mail. Think I will be returning it. I have the original. No need for both. Oh, okay. Maybe give it a try. Give it some time. Give it some time. You might change your mind. I haven't tried it yet. It's on my hand. I haven't smelt it. And Tony says, I want to know if this is better or worse than Demi's. I will give you a side by side and let you know what I prefer for sure. Paul says, please don't keep Jon in suspenders. Right, what, are you ready for me to smell it? Okay, here we go. Okay. Jon, does it smell a little bit like cleaning product at first to you? I don't know. It certainly doesn't smell like what I remember Love Don't Be Shy to smell like. It's definitely not as sweet. No, I can smell the orange blossom. I'm sure it will change. It just, You know when it just instantly gives you that feeling of only because cleaning products do use citruses, and it's that scent association. I'm backtracking now, aren't I? John, you're evil, Claire. Kareen's here. Hi, I'm late. What are we smelling? Love Don't Be Shy Extreme. Raphael says, never had a Kilian or Fragrance Du Bois that I loved. All very bland, if I'm honest. Talk and Review says, John is ready to kick off. No, honestly, give me a chance. Come on, you said it needs to bloom on the skin. It's almost like I'm thinking like a burnt orange blossom smell. Is it? Do you get a little bit of smokiness from it? John Snow says, Lizzie said pink mouthwash. Why can't I see that on this screen? I don't have the live chat up. Let's try that again. I don't know if I've ever had pink mouthwash. It is a little bit medicinal, I think. It's a million miles away from the Demi one. You would never compare them side by side. They're just not in. They're not. Maybe this will go gourmand, but they're just not in the same ballpark. This is a dark, nighttime, rich gourmand. This is at the moment kind of fresh-ish. I think probably, I don't know what the notes are now, but it feels like a combination of like citruses, petitgrain, neroli, orange blossom. It's quite a bitter element to it at the moment. It is improving. Scott said, I said thin vanilla biscuits dipped in a rose and orange thick cream. It's way better than the first spray. And I'm starting to get the vanilla, the warmth, the sweetness coming through now. John says the pomegranate and neroli are a touch bitter at the beginning. I don't know that I've ever experienced pomegranate in a fragrance, or if I have, I've never really paid attention or noticed. So I wouldn't really know. Not one for buying fresh fruit and vegetables, unfortunately. So I don't really know what pomegranate smells like or tastes like. Yeah, so it's got the bitterness, whether they're actually present or not. But if you know neroli, if you know petitgrain, then you'll know the bitterness, the slight green bitterness that comes with those notes. And it feels like it has some of that. So you have to like that kind of thing. You have to like, at the moment, to enjoy this particular stage of the fragrance, you're going to need to be okay with neroli / petitgrain. But I can just about detect the sweetness coming through. At the moment, it feels like a summery kind of fragrance, and I'm sure when the vanilla really comes through, that's going to change. Herb says, Claire, 5 a day keeps the doctor away. Taffy is wearing something cozy. Jacques Zolty Vanille. 5 what, says Drillbit. Yeah. Tony says this makes sense now. Isn't neroli John's favourite? No. It's starting to become more like how I remember Love Don't Be Shy. It's getting there. I feel like I want to fast forward the development to get to sort of find something else to talk about, because at the moment I can't really pick up too much else. Like I pick up citruses, orange blossom, neroli, a little bit of sweet sort of vanilla underneath. I don't get the rose straight away, and I've seen other reviews where people don't get the rose immediately. I saw Anna Absolute did her first impressions live, and she didn't get the rose straight away. It took a little while. John says it warms, but the rose is quite pink to me. Tames the sweet orange blossom, does get beautiful. Okay. All right, well, let's go back to Demi's for a bit. So this is now, it's now getting almost like a slightly smoky, it is reminding me of By the Fireplace. It's got a little bit of a sweet smokiness about it. Yeah. I don't know if that's ambroxan I'm picking up. If it is, it's only in a small dose. But it really is making me think of a sweet smoke, just kind of similar to By the Fireplace. Or like, yeah, I guess if you imagine roasting coffee beans and maybe even roasting cardamom pods and getting a little bit of smoke off of that. But there is a sweetness, like some vanilla syrup. So maybe you roast your coffee beans, you roast your cardamom pods, and you make a drink, and then you pour some vanilla syrup in, you give it a little stir, and the steam from the drink. Definitely smoky. It's definitely got development because there's been lots of different things I'm picking up here. John says with the Killian, the rose just appears from literally nowhere. Jim says it almost sounds like Love Don't Be Shy. Oh, fresh instead of extreme. John says it needs time, Jimbo. I should have been more generous. It does warm up a lot. No, I'm starting to get a pink feeling. Not necessarily that I would, and I'm not always brilliant at picking up rose, even though it's such a distinctive scent. It's oftentimes, unless it's a really big player in a fragrance, and quite often I don't always pick it up. Yeah, it's like a smoked orange blossom. Do you get any smokiness from it, John? It's unusual, and I wasn't expecting it to be the way that it is, and it's absolutely not bad. It's just not what I expected. It does have a soapiness, which I initially said cleaning product, but actually it's kind of soapy, and I think Orange Blossom can do that. Orange Blossom Neroli can kind of give off a soapy feel. Yes, it's kind of really soapy clean, but a touch smoky at the same time. With just this hint of vanilla coming through. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I have to be honest, I very lightly toyed with the idea of buying a bottle blind. And I think if I'd have bought it, I think I'd be a bit disappointed based on what I'm getting now for the price. But it does smell good. And do I need to say it again, how fussy I am? I don't like to bring anything into my collection unless I'm really going to wear it a lot. I'm really quite fussy now about what I buy, unless it happens to be a cheapie or kind of like something that's easily resold for not too much of a loss. I don't mind taking a risk here and there, but usually I like to have tested things properly, and I like to know that I'm really going to get some use out of something, because I don't like to forego my favourite perfumes just because I feel like I should wear something else that I've bought. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how you all feel about that. We all collect and experience our fragrances in different ways. Heather's here. Hey Heather, I hope you're doing okay. John says it needs time and probably a bigger spray. Okay, well, there's a little bit there. I kind of wanted to do a full review, so I might attempt it, or at least spray the whole lot on my arm and review it from that. Raphael says, I'm the same, super picky these days. Has to be true love, otherwise the collection just increases. Yes. John says the rose maybe has a hint of soapiness, but I got it as more petally. It's almost spiced, not that I can smell a specific spice, but you know how some things can just smell spicy? So it's almost like there's a spiciness. Maybe it's to the orange blossom. I'm not sure. But it's got like a peppery kind of spiciness to it. Fragrance Phrase is here. Scotland has just signed in. Hey, Fragrance Phrase. So I'm not going to go on too much longer because I do need to be at the fella's house for din-dins. But okay, I'm going to sort of now talk about both fragrances side by side. They are not similar. They do not compete in any way, shape or form. But they are new releases, of course, similar-ish price points. Both would consider themselves gourmand category. So I'm going to talk about them side by side, but they are completely different fragrances. They are miles apart. So with the Minuet edema, the dry down now is, to me, is smoky and sweet. Not really smoky, just a little bit smoky. It does remind me a little bit of By the Fireplace. I think I'm picking up some ambroxan. It's got that dry. I think a lot of people will find this very addictive. It's got that kind of dry sweetness. I really enjoyed the beginning of it, probably more than what I'm getting on the wrist, which has been on longer, although we don't know where it's going to go from here. I loved the rich exotic nature of the first sort of 20 minutes or so. It's like a rich, dark, exotic, spicy, not too sweet. Now, I would say it's definitely not that unique, but it is a really nice gourmand fragrance. Now let's go to the Killian. Killian, I didn't love that first spray. It did smell a little bit, it just made me think cleaning product, and I think I just meant like soapy really. It is changing. It doesn't feel like the orange blossom is as full on as it is in Love Don't Be Shy, which is a good thing to me. I'm looking forward to picking up the rose. I think if you said to me, which one would you buy now, make your decision based on the first, how long have we been chatting for? Don't know. Make your decision now, which one do you buy? I think I would choose the Killian. Simply because it's more unique and I don't have anything quite like it. I feel like it would fill more holes. Not that I'm putting it in any of my orifices, but what I mean is I've got this area covered and more. I've got so many quite sweet, rich gourmands. This is rich, not too rich, but this has a lightness to it. This feels like I could wear it any time, any season, and it's got a little bit of freshness, and my tastes these days go a little more to the lighter side. which is why I've been wearing a lot more of like Miss Dior Cherie, for example, or the Miss Dior range in general. So my tastes currently sit on the lighter side of things, and the Killian is on the lighter. I'm sure the depth is coming through, and it will be sweet and warm, but it's got this lightness because Orange Blossom is a lighter note and freshness. And I think the rose is coming out actually. Yeah, I think I'm getting the rose now. Oh, is Lizzie here? I see Lizzie's name. I don't see her comment. Let's have a look. Karine says, what about the Fragrance Du Bois? Is it worth the price? It depends. I mean, it depends. I personally, I wouldn't buy it because I've got it covered already. I've got this genre covered. I think if you've got a gap in your collection and you need, or no one needs anything, but you really want a gourmand, it's one to consider. 100 mils, 250 quid. It's not the most expensive when you look at you know, other fragrances out there, that niche fragrances. So is it worth the price? It is if you love the fragrance. I mean, that's the answer to any. If we were talking about any fragrance, is it worth the price? Really, is if you love it, it is. Problem is you can't sample it. I think for me, just getting into the more of the, as it's drying, I wouldn't call it the dry down yet, but getting into it more. I think that dry sweetness that's potentially got some ambroxan is making me think, no, I wouldn't buy it. It wouldn't be worth it for me. Would the Killian be worth it? It's very expensive. It's definitely changing. It's almost coming off like is it incensey, or almost like a combination of incense and potpourri. I don't mean that in a really nasty way, but maybe that's the rose, because you often get rose scented potpourri. And if you look at the value, you only get 50 mils with the Killian for a very similar price to what you get 100 mils of Fragrance Du Bois. So there's that as well. But yeah, for me, the Killian's just got that a little bit more unique, and it's not something that I've got anything similar to myself. So there. John says, I don't work for Killian, by the way. I chuffing love this one. Lizzie says, caught the end. Yeah, you just caught the end, Liz. Louise says, great first impressions. I have not tried any Fragrance Du Bois. Jusette Gourmand Bacourt is a strong caramel. Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's been a long time since I smelt that. It's not as rich and sweet as that. But I think if you like that, you're going to like that. Vanessa says, this gives me the reassurance that it needs to go back. I'm fine with the original. I'll layer a rose fragrance to get the extreme. Okay. Sally's here. Hey, Sal. John's rose has finally blossomed, says Paul. Yeah, it's definitely blossoming. John says, Vanessa, honestly, I could only smell the original at first. Then it just popped and became really, really beautiful, like more grown up. A different take. That DNA is there and hard not to notice. So, Vanessa says, it's beautiful nonetheless. I don't need both. Not to mention the bottle's leaking. Yeah, if the bottle's leaking, it's got to go back. Okay, right. I'm going to call it quits because I really need to get moving. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope that that was useful in some way. And I will catch you all soon. Take care of yourselves. Look after yourselves. And I'll see you soon. Bye.